Warning.
Watch very closely now. 3, 2, 1. Bzow! Check that out.
The following podcast features terrible jokes.
You know you can use Hot Wheels cars when you need to make a saving throw in D&D? Every car is die-cast.
Usually about board games.
We want the fun. Gotta have that fun.
Must insist that no one attempt to recreate any joke performed on this podcast.
We had less technical issues than $1 million company.
All right!
This is Boards and Swords.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Boards and Swords. This is the podcast we didn't think was going to happen there for a second. But this is a podcast where we talk about bad jokes, good folks, and some tabletop games. Who am I? I am Chris Renshaw. That guy over there is Mr. Philip Herbig.
What's going on, everybody?
So it is just us today. It is the Just Us League. As we both came back from Pax Unplugged and got a lot to talk about. Phil's got...
And we unplugged.
Yeah, and
at
then,
Pax Unplugged.
yeah, we had to unplug and plug stuff in, the bunch of... Yeah, got lots to talk about. Phil's even got more to talk about in bonus bits because we get to hear about Vegas.
More.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. But first, let's hear some news.
News.
All right. I don't have a joke for this first one. It's just people that probably should get fired instead of doing the firing. So hey, and I got the tablet to actually work. See? Whee!
Nice.
All right. So so Rascal, which is something if you've noticed over the past couple of years, my sources that I've been using have changed a lot, and that's because news is a hard, or website blogs is a hard business, especially. So Rascal is a website that got started recently by a bunch of people who worked on other sites and got laid off because you can't survive on ad sales alone. But they require a subscription to do, like, they have free articles that they do like once a week that if you're just signed in, then you get access to them. But I subbed because especially for the Dice Breakers, in fact I think that was kind of one of the reasons that went towards the Rascal. So it's like $5 a month is the sub. I think they did a special during Black Friday, but I didn't jump on that. But anyways, so you might see some articles trundle in, and I'm sorry, but a lot of times usually the first 2 paragraphs will give you like the bottom line up front, and then
The idea.
Yeah.
Of, yeah.
but it does a good job of like making you want to know more. But Wyrmwood's bitter
Hang on,
medicine.
you got to do that. You got to do that in the Starship Tour. Would you like to know more?
Wyrmwood's bitter medicine is proving hard for audiences to swallow. So yeah, so Wyrmwood, the tabletop table manufacturer, has recently. I just realized that this. Sorry, the overlay is like down. There we go. All right, sorry, issues. Yeah, so that spending that sweet Patreon money. No. This was Chris Renshaw personal money to get that. Let me get in here though. So Wyrmwood Gaming, a woodworking company best known for their flagship modular gaming table and once regular sponsor of Critical Role, posted a 10-minute video on its reality show style YouTube channel Worm Life titled "We Laid Off 50% of the Company." The video follows CEO and co-founder Doug Costello as he walks into a large room in a warehouse where his plant manager has already broken the news to the remaining employees, the survivors. Yeah, he makes his way across the crowd, stands at the edge of the meeting. After the manager emphasizes that this will be a time where people would have to train and work on machines they might be unfamiliar with in order to make up for the lost employees, Costello takes the floor. He explains that his theory that would have led to things being, quote, wavy gravy did not hold out, and that meant taking a, quote, bitter medicine of structuring and layoffs. As people shifted awkwardly from one foot to another in the background, he spoke for 5 more minutes, telling people that he was going to wring, quote, every ounce of production out of them for their own good. Then he said, we have lost some really good people today. People that should not have had layoffs were laid off today, and I want everyone to just keep that in mind as we move forward, because I will. And then he claps his hands and said, okay, that's it. So, let's 2 things about this. First of all, that's hard as a general rule to go through. Also, that's also really weird to say that I messed up, so therefore you guys are going to have to burn yourself out. Then the second messed up part of all that is filming all of that and putting it on the internet for everyone to see and calling that content. Like, I used to watch their Worm Life videos, and I thought they were really good back when it was the R&D of how they made products. Of like, I've got this idea for a product, and they go through like 5 orientations of it, and like, this is why this one's no good. This one's why this is no good. And like, you get that development piece in the woodworking artisanship. Like, that was cool. And then they started doing more and more about like the business, like reality show kind of thing. And it was like, no, they have an HR department. They will show that guy in the videos a lot, and then him talking about like, this is a bad idea. They just ignore him.
Oh God.
So, fun fact of sneaking ahead to Pax Unplugged, I thought it was weird that, so this came out, this article came out this past week, and we were at PAX, and Wyrmwood had a booth at PAX, but it wasn't their normal booth with their normal con crew, where like they have all their, like they have, usually the Wyrmwood booth is like 2 sections. There's the big section that's got all their fancy tables to show off. That's just like an open floor kind of walk through, and that's more of like car salesman kind of thing, because that's what you're spending on something like that. And then they have the like traditional con booth, that's all the registers, and then they got like all their smaller products that you can go buy, like the dice towers and like the dice vaults and all that. They didn't have that second booth this year. And I recognized everyone they had on the floor because it was all like the bigwigs from the Worm Life videos. And I was like, that's really bizarre. Now I get it, because they probably fired everybody and they still had to run a booth because they had spent all this money. So like, well, we'll just throw the tables out there and then just tell people to go to our website, because we really just want those people to go. We just really want to sell stuff on there.
Yeah.
How to monetize your layoff. They don't even monetize. Their videos are not monetized because they play copyrighted music at the end. So they can't be monetized videos. They'll do like outros that have like popular songs and stuff on them. So they're not even monetizing it. They should probably, because apparently they...
I was going to say, that could add to the bottom line. Maybe you don't have to fire so many people.
Yeah. But it was like, basically the CEO had an idea, and then it failed, and now he fired like a bunch of people, which that happens. Like, I get like the whole, we're not bringing in enough money, so I got to lay people off. That is the unfortunate side effect of business. The weird part is then he saying like, the rest of y'all have to suffer and squeeze out and this guy gets away scot-free. Like, I don't know why any of the other employees are staying there. Like,
oh yeah.
I would be like, we're done, right? Like, we're gonna go start our own company, right? Like, it's
we're all gonna go see if that other table with the raisable middle is hiring.
Yeah, game theory. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They're trying to like make their, they want to have a stable sales. I get that. So they're trying to transition off the Kickstarter beat, and they just didn't. They only pulled in like half of what they were supposed to. Yeah, like I would take my skills elsewhere or start your own. Do you realize, like, as much? And the reason they were saying that the middle hard to swallow is like a lot of the people that watch their stuff, they're bought in on this. But even on those videos, and not only that, it's not even the video of the announcement. It gets one step worse because the rascal people emailed them for comment and they didn't respond. Instead, they made another video about it and talking about how like they're just going to blow everything out of proportion and you all are reading this wrong. You're all Reddit trolls and you don't understand how business works. And then they then published that video out. So, yeah. I was like, do you like all those people that got fired, if they just came together and did a Kickstarter for their own table or woodworking shop, that money would probably go through the roof. Or that Kickstarter would probably go through the roof.
Probably would.
Also,
I could definitely see that.
If you do have to, because some people can't leave because they need the job. I get that,
Right.
but I would be heavily trying to unionize. So, like I said, the article there's so much more that we could drill down into, but yeah, pretty sure they don't know how the business works, or else they'd be a better business. Fair. And watch it. I can't say too much because else they'll make like another video calling me out.
Right.
So,
Boards and Swords is trash.
yeah, well,
It's like,
you're not going to get any arguments here.
call me a fucking raccoon, all right? I'm in the trash.
So, yeah, it makes me really sad that I actually have one of their things that I've spent money on right here, the deck, because it was like I needed a deck box that fit tarot cards, and they're like one of the only people that make it. But
Yeah.
I'm like, ugh, I don't want to touch it now. Like it just feels
Well,
gross.
don't be. So there was, years ago, there was a big thing with Nike.
Mhm.
And Nike went on and supported something. There are a whole bunch of things that like the companies started supporting stuff, and then people were taking and like burning their shoes and their clothes. And
Yeah, they
one
already.
was like a
Oh, it
like
was
an air fryer or something.
No, it
and-
was they supported what's his name, Colin Kaepernick. They had an ad.
Okay, yeah.
They had an ad with
And
him on it, and everybody started, or like the people started rising up and burning their shoes, and everyone was
yeah,
like,
burning their shoes and their clothes and stuff. It's like, bro, you still got to wear something. Like,
well, it
you
was
got no
also
shoes now.
like, hey, Nike doesn't care; they already have your money.
And that's that. So you're talking about like your deck box and everything. Like, bro, they already got your money. That
Well,
money's
no.
already gone.
I'm not saying like
Use
I'm
that deck
not going
box.
to destroy it. It's just more of like it's just a symbol in my like my brain correlates and goes, I got to sit there and look at it, kind of thing.
Well, I mean, you gotta Dremel, just like burn their mark off of it, and
just grill in a
it's
Boards
just-
and Swords logo instead.
there you go. There you go.
No, I just need a. We know people. We've interviewed people on the show, like Gabby that does woodworking stuff. I just need to see if she's done any tarot-sized boxes
There you go.
and
I was
support
also
a better.
like, go to the makerspace and forge your own.
That
like, boards and
requires
swords.
way more effort. I'm better. I still need to do the dice tower for patrons,
Oh yeah.
but so yeah, probably not worth spending much more time on that. Funnily enough, there is going to be another Union story later in this show. So next, did you hear they're making an MMO where you play as a bunch of insects? The final boss is called the Itch King. This one is yes,
Yes,
brothel
Beetle.
brothel sawdust. I thought this story was funny. So indie RPG gaming site itch.io was taken down by Funko and AI, basically. So I had seen as it was happening, this article or like people talking about like, oh, itch. I saw like people having like, oh, itch is back up, and I was like, itch was down. So itch.io is a big thing for indie RPGs and games. Like you go on there, you can support thing. I only have stuff through them mostly because of like they'll do charity drives where they'll get like hundreds of people. That's why I've told friends that, like if they ever get interested in a small RPG that's not brand new, to like let me know before they go buy stuff, because it's like chances are I have it. There's a good chance I have it in there somewhere.
Already, yep.
So here we go. Itch.io announced on Blue Sky earlier that its website was taken down by none other than big-headed collectible maker Funko. This happened after a bogus phishing report was generated by Brand Shield, an AI-powered brand protection software used by Funko and other companies. So this is where they're talking about it's one of the biggest platforms for indie games of all stripes. Let's see, here it goes. So basically, somebody had put on some person made a fan page for an existing Funko Pop video game, Funko Fusion, with links to the official site and screenshots of the game. The Brand Shield software probably instructed to eradicate all unauthorized use of their trademark, so they sent reports independently to our host and registrar claiming there was fraud and phishing, likely to cause escalation in doing the expected DMCA cease and desist. So, therefore, AI blew it way out of proportion so that it would get taken down immediately. And what it did is it took down the entire site because somebody messed up. Which is weird because, like, now people could be like, you could, if you want to take down the site, you could just generate stuff like that. And it's like, this stuff is crazy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean that's just wild. And like the article goes on to say like they had to go to social media to get somebody to pay attention.
Yeah.
To get human intervention to go, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah. But meanwhile, an AI could just go,
Yeah.
hey.
Oops, sucks to be you.
Yeah. Because that's what it didn't follow the normal process. It elevated it by using some traits or whatever to ensure that it would get pulled immediately.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's so weird. By the way, anyone in the chat, if you want to help us out for maybe later, I don't know if we'll get to the game show piece. Actually, we probably shouldn't count our we should probably count our blessings and just get on with it. But all right. Next up, if you made an RPG where Steve Jobs got all his workers by raising the undead, would that be a turtle necromancer? So, Philip, I don't know if you remember, you'll notice a trend here. There's a lot of like PAX Unplugged callbacks. You remember we passed the PAX or the Paizo booth and it said something impossible's coming in 2026.
Yes.
So what it was, they announced immediately after PAX, liar, liar, Funko Fire. I don't understand why they didn't just announce this at PAX, because that would have been like prime time to do so. But Paizo puts 2 new classes into playtest, Necromancer and Runesmith. Okay, so apparently they were... Okay, we didn't check out the booth enough is what it was.
I did read the sign and it said playtest.
Okay.
I did pay that much but you're right. We didn't.
They didn't advertise it at the. You had to go into the actual booth and sit down.
Yeah.
Broad play testing kicking off this week and wrapping up January 31st, 2025, for what is Paizo's calling the Impossible Playtest. The new classes will be available via Pathfinder Nexus, the online Pathfinder creator generator, and players will be able to comment on the classes and their mechanics via the Paizo website. It gives players a chance to fill the battlefield with disposable undead thralls, while the Runesmith is a supportive martial character who can etch mystic inscriptions on themselves, their allies, and even enemies. Lead developer for the rules and lore team, James Case, explained in a statement. I don't understand why this is an impossible playtest. Like...
Yeah.
That's a weird name to put there. And I didn't even understand, like, when the sign was up, it was like, something impossible is coming. And I'm like, are you going to do 5e or something? Like, like what are we talking about here? Is that like a vegetable fighter build? Yeah. Like,
See, now the thing is, the Runesmith, that reminds me of, there was a series of books by Tracy Hickman and Margaret Weiss called The Deathgate Cycle. An amazing 7-book series. But there were two factions, basically. The patrons and the Sorens.
okay.
I can't remember. I'll look it up later. But
I mean, both of those writers do a lot of
they do a lot of fantasy stuff, yeah,
and they do a lot of RPG stuff too,
and RPG stuff. The patrons and the Sarens, they both used runes. The patrons tattooed them on their body as like shields and weaponry and that kind of stuff, and the Sarens would just kind of draw them in the air with their fingers. So like the runesmith talking about like, oh yeah, you can etch mystic inscriptions on themselves, allies, enemies, probably on like in order to make an arrow like actually hunt for the heart. It's like you just scribe a rune on it, arrow goes straight for the heart all the time.
But that's what I'm saying, like both of those are tropes in fantasy. So therefore, what is impossible about it?
Impossible playtest. I don't know. They were probably making you fight Tiamat right away.
Maybe that's it. Maybe it's not necessarily those classes. It's just a part of the whole play
testing.
I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I thought that was really weird that was what they were going for.
It's not a funnel. It's a garbage disposal. Just take all the level zeros and they have to fight Tiamat right there. Boom.
There you go. All right. There was a news story where these fancy murals started going up next to speed limit signs all across the country. Apparently, for community service, someone was told to do paint by numbers. So, Vallejo workers hit the picket lines. Workers at the Acrylos Vallejo plant in Barcelona, Spain have gone to the picket lines for a partial strike. The strike announcement was posted on the Blue Sky account. Blue Sky, yeah. Partial strike was 98% supported by workers and will be indefinite. Workers will stop working each day and picket for 2 hours during their shift until their demands are met. Workers' demands, including according to president of the company, CGT committee, the Catalonian labor organization, include an improvement in safety and hygiene, as well as Vallejo addressing the major deficiencies in building maintenance and obsolete machinery. Also, apparently, the workers claim that executives harass them and demand a protocol to deal with those incidents. Last but not least, the workers are demanding an increase of pay of 15%. Yeah. So, stuff being crazy. And before, I know there was a lot of people talking about boycotting, but apparently the union has not called for a boycott yet, which I find out because you see this and you like, oh yeah, I'm going to boycott them. Actually, keeping supply or keeping demand high while there's a strike puts more pressure on the company.
Yes,
because production's gone down. So if demand goes down while there's a strike, then suddenly the company's like, well, we don't need all these people that are striking. So if you're a fan of Vallejo paints, which Vallejo is a very, very popular paint brand, I would say, like, I don't know, maybe, I don't know between Army, I mean, of course GW paint's up there, but I don't know between Vallejo and Army Painter which one is higher, like more. I think it is probably based on where you are, like in the like. I bet in Europe, since it's a European company, it's probably a way more popular than it is here, and it's already really popular here.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're talking about a top 3 paint brand. Don't stop buying your paints yet.
I don't know jack about Jack. and I saw the title and I was like, hey, that's the paint people.
Yeah, exactly. Hi, Oscar. So, yeah, hopefully, hopefully everything works out for them because yeah, those are pretty bad conditions if that's the way things are.
And this article is from December 5th.
I
We're
haven't.
talking about it here on December 15. So, I mean,
Well,
there could be some movement we haven't seen yet.
I saw it. I saw on Blue Sky today was where I was saying I heard that the boycott hasn't been called for yet, so it is still ongoing.
Oh.
As of the 16th. So, Vallejo is the better ranger for Army Painter. Yes, I agree, but Army Painter. I said Amy Painter. Army Painter is more widely available. I feel like in places. That's why it may have an edge on there, and it's also, I think, cheaper. Army Painter's like one of the cheaper brands you can get. Yeah. So, but that's another reason that Vallejo, Rusty Beetle's point, making good points in the chat. They also make other kinds of paint besides just the miniatures paint, or at least they started that way. So there may be broader appeal than just like tabletop. But all right. Last story, then we can talk about Pax more. No matter just PSA for you. No matter how old your house is, it's really easy to change your kitchen countertops. In fact, you might say it's never too slate. I know that was fake. I know it's not true, but I had to get to the joke. So yeah. Oh, cat's now in my lap. They came out with another balanced data slate. I'm actually okay with some of this, though, because maybe I think all my... I'm going to pretend it was all my ranting that changed a few things.
Exactly.
So if you look at the new 40K balanced data slate, they actually changed a kitten countertop. There we go. They changed a few things in their PDFs. So they still have the problem of like 4 different PDFs to change, but they've changed it to where now it's not just any changes are now like marked in red. The new changes are marked in red, and then they just highlight older changes. So like progress in the right direction.
Okay,
We're not completely there. But they also did a few things to buff up what they call codex compliant Astartes. So like you have all the non-chapters like Dark Angels and Blood Angels.
That was a good TV show.
Where they have their own indexes and codexes, but they can still use the regular Space Marine stuff. And what's happens is because they have so many options, there's so many ways for things to get busted. And what happens is they just nerf everything. So if you're playing just regular Space Marines, you get nerfed into the ground even more because you don't have access to all those other things. So it's been kind of like a big problem for a while, and it's like, why would anyone play regular Space Marines? Because they just suck. But now they added a couple of rules where it's like, also, you get all your normal abilities, plus if you're detached or if your army doesn't include those 4 chapters, you also get this additional rule as well. That's actually really strong. I tried it out. We did a thing over the weekend where it was just like 500 points, bring some stuff and throw down, and it was a lot of fun actually. They made some changes to a couple of units that like I had a lot of fun playing. Like units that were great at the start, then got nerfed and then got brought back again. So, but yeah, exactly. And people talk about here like points organized or neatly organized, where they actually say how much if the points went up and down and by how much. So you can be like, oh, it's in red, so like it went up, but like how much does this impact me? So, yeah, I know a lot of people liked the last change, the last time they threw out so much that I was like, I'm done playing for a while, but I'm back in with asterisk.
Does this guy have a horn?
Huh?
I'm looking through the miniature models. The first set of like Space Marines.
Is it the? Oh, I don't have the virtual
not sharing your
camera
screen.
going. There we go. Are you talking about these guys?
Yeah, these guys. The guy at the bottom middle. He has a horn.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what chaos. Chaos doesn't do symmetrical.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I was also in the first batch, the turret.
Yeah.
So like servitors, you still serve the Imperium, but it's like you fucked up.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna take your skull. But like, this is like an honored servitor
Yeah.
because he gets a gun.
That's like the kill team. The kill team. You got to watch we may watch it in bonus bits. There's a kill team cinematic that like you just makes you want the turret. Ah, kitty. So, but yeah, I'm back into 40K with an asterisk of at lower point games. I'm not
There you
playing
go.
the big 2,000 point games, at least not for a while. I've been putting together these like small, like this weekend we're gonna do, we call it Hero Hammer, where it's 500 points, but you can only bring characters.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So like you only bring like the leaders and stuff, none of the actual
Oh.
like units.
Okay, only named guys. All right. Yeah.
Well, not even named guys. That's like epic heroes.
Oh, those
Characters
are epic.
characters are basically all the things that you can attach to other things, like a tech marine or a lieutenant, a sergeant, a captain. Those are like characters, is what they got.
Gotcha.
So, bye, Beetle. So there you go. That is that's them's the news. Oop, wrong one. There we go. So Philip,
So Chris,
we did Pax Unplugged.
we did Pax Unplugged.
You,
I had so many cheesesteaks.
Oh my gosh. Do we want to kind of go through our day? So I've got picks pulled up that we can go
Okay.
through, but we can kind of probably start with kind of the grand overview of what all we did, and then we can kind of go into the picks probably.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
So let's see. We got up. We drove up, picked up Corey and Jimmy on the way,
Mm-hmm.
and headed up to Pennsylvania. No problems checking in. Our hotel was a block away. We stayed at the Notary, which was like one block back from the convention center. I liked that. That was
On the actual direct route,
yeah.
1 block away. I made the mistake of following people.
Well, it was also like
I don't
if
know
you
where
did,
the hell we went.
they make this problem every year of you never know which door to go into, and if the big door is always open, so everyone might have been going that way, and not knowing that the Arch Street entrance was open. So that's what I worry about next year. Is that next year things are getting shuffled around and they don't have the whole convention center, and I'm worried that the Arch Street entrance won't be open.
Oh, they don't.
Well, I mean, they're going to have a lot of it,
Okay.
but there's a bunch of stuff going on.
Which one's Arch Street? Is that the up to the 2 theaters?
No, that's the main one. Arch Street
That's
is
the main one.
Yeah, Arch Street's the one that like has the escalator that goes up like past several floors to go up to the
Oh, okay.
the
Is
free
that Arch-
play.
I thought that was Broad Street.
Well, excuse me, it's the corner of Arch and Broad.
Oh, it's
That's
okay.
what
So
I'm
it's at
thinking
that.
of. It's
okay,
the Broad
that-
Street entrance is what you're. Yes, you're correct.
I just
We
I
were
just,
a block from Arch Street, is what it was.
I just love that the convention center has 2 streets going through it
yeah.
on the bottom floor.
Yep.
So
Which
you
is
look at
why
the
if
map
you
and
get
it's like,
if you
"God,
get on the bottom floor, you have to sometimes be like, "Crap, I got off too soon. I got to go back up and over."
Yep.
So
That's wild. I mean, that's-
we argued this several times, but I'm pretty sure this was your first time staying multiple days at PAX.
yeah.
So How was it compared to some of the other? You've been to a multitude of different conventions now.
I bet. Yeah, have. So like, the first sleepaway convention was PAX East.
Yeah.
And
Well, there's,
God, that was huge.
yeah. You've been to Gen Con. We've done the CMON Expo.
CMON Expo was great. That was this kind of had CMON Expo vibes of being smaller convention.
Yeah.
But obviously with more companies. This was cool. Like being that close to the convention center is always a plus.
Mm-hmm.
The food that's around, that was amazing.
Yep.
I attended.
Oh, the Reading Terminal Market is like one of the.
Yeah.
It's probably like the number 2 reason to go. like, if this was done in another city, it would not have as much appeal. But it's the fact that you're right there by the Reading Terminal Market.
What if they brought it down to DC?
I mean,
we wouldn't even need a hotel, man. I would trek up and back every day.
I don't know about. I've done that for conventions before. It takes a lot out of you.
I do that for work every week.
Fair.
This would be for fun. So I didn't do any events. Like I wanted to go, but I was friggin' tired on Saturday.
Yeah, you were just plumb exhausted this weekend.
I have no idea what was going on. Friday was fine.
Yeah.
Sunday was fine.
Saturday, you were just
Saturday
done.
What the hell happened?
I was Saturday. So wait, well, let's get to Saturday.
Okay.
So caveat, and I guess I should have talked about this with the Wyrmwood piece earlier, is that I did demos, or I do have a bias of I worked with the Game Toppers booth, so there should have been I meant to do a disclaimer there and I didn't. But so I worked there Friday morning, and then Friday evening, and then caught up with Philip when I finished there. After that, it was pretty much like let's peruse the floor. / that evening was let's run around and get all the Pax XP unlocks.
Yes.
So there's a scavenger hunt in the app that you can do, and you go around and they give you clues and riddles for all these signs, and then you would find the signs. They're not like hidden or anything. It's just you just look for this little sign with a QR code, scan it in the app, and then it would be like, you found it, and then you just try and get all the different things. Except, so we got them all but like one. I swear, the one that took the last one that when we scanned, I swear that somebody swapped them.
Somebody had to have.
Because I'm pretty sure I scanned that code earlier and got credit for a different one.
Oh.
When they were doing all the trade stuff Friday night.
Yeah.
Because you were like, hey,
well, and also because the guy was like, it's over here in this area, and I'm like, he showed me on the map in the marked area.
Well, there was one there.
And it just wasn't that one.
And it was and later it was hard to tell because I think people were playing games in it afterwards, but it was the non-GW painting area that somebody mentioned on the chat. But that was for one that had already said I had scanned. I'm like, I have not scanned this one. I scanned that one up front. So I think somebody picked some up and swapped them.
The people on Reddit. Because that was the non-GW paint. Can I get a lat long, please?
Or there'd be like
non-GW paint areas there
or
were.
the one person was like, and that's it. We found all of them, but only didn't post any of the locations. Like
jack shit.
We found them. Well, glad for you, but the point was to let all of us know.
Yeah, 10 years ago at PAX East, there was a bulleted list of the locations.
So that was a lot of our Friday.
Did you talk about the thing?
I haven't talked about what we got. I figured you were running to grab it.
So what we got for PAX SP?
Because once you checked everything in, you went to the info booth and you got a prize.
And you got a prize. An extremely damn useful prize.
Oh, yours is still in the package.
Mine's still in the package, yeah. So it's a keychain. It's got USB-A, and then Lightning, C, and Micro.
Oh yeah, and it's a converter. In fact,
yeah,
mine's plugged in over here. That's what I was using. That's what's charging my dice.
Oh, nice.
I was like, dang it! I needed a. It was a USB-C, and I didn't have a USB-C box. I was like, dang it! How am I going to
Yep.
charge this? I was like, oh wait, that's
Bing,
what
bing.
this thing is
Yeah.
for.
I'm like, this is ridiculously useful.
Yeah. So then Saturday, I was like, I had all day Saturday free to do stuff, and then I was like, Philip, you want to get up, hit the floor with me early, and we'll go around doing podcasty stuff and get cards and stuff. And he's like, yeah, sounds good. And then did not wake up. And eventually I was like, I should probably get moving if I'm going to go to the show. Then it wasn't until like noon that I ended up hearing from Philip.
Yeah,
And then
my
Homie
body
got-
went to vacation.
Homie got 6
mode.
hours at the con and was like, I'm exhausted, and went back and fell asleep.
Yeah, Saturday was so, and then yeah.
So,
But I did get to where's my I don't know. If anybody on anybody on TikTok, he goes by SOJ-UWU. Soj Uwu. He's also known as the angry sexy Mulan man who will yell at you if you don't wash your rice. Got to see him walking around the convention. Got a badge ribbon from him. That was kind of cool. It kind of put the whole like. I am now aware that he is a real person. I've shook his hand.
yeah,
He is now real
yeah.
to me. Everybody else I see on TikTok, those people aren't real. Except for a couple of the little cuties I saw walking around. I'm like, hey, I haven't shaken your hand, but you're real. You were right there. I was 10 feet away from you.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna flip to this because some of this.
Chris got a thing.
Yeah. So one of the things I did on Friday, actually, I forgot to say is I got the Halo Flashpoint Spartan Edition. This is a picture of the 3D. It's got the 3D build stuff, but I did get the Spartan set because Philip and I on Thursday managed to get into the convention because I had exhibitor badges.
Sneaky.
And we like went in and looked around while everybody was getting set up, which was really cool because Philip got to see his upcoming DM screen, or
Yes,
a
that was
version
so
of it
cool.
from Elderwood Academy. And then I saw that they were setting up like a bunch of Halo Flashpoint stuff, and I saw they had the Spartan Edition ones, and I was like, I want it so bad. But so I totally pulled a, hey Ma, why don't you only give me some money, or if you were going to give me money for Christmas early, I would gladly take that now for a sandwich. And then I bought it at the show with the implicit instructions I was not allowed to open it.
That he was not allowed.
I was not allowed to open it, so it sits now in the storage unit.
I didn't know to open it either.
So at Christmas I will get to open it. But meanwhile, I still have the Recon Edition, so I get to play Halo Flashpoint. I just don't get the Master Chief one yet. I can't paint it ahead of time. Is the issue?
Oh darn.
Which I may end up seeing if somebody wants, because I have now, because the teams that are in the Recon Edition are in the Spartan Edition, so I may like sell or see if somebody wants those teams that like doesn't want to buy a whole set, a whole box thing.
Who doesn't want to buy a whole box?
I know, right? Let's see here. We passed this really cool booth that had a bunch of like actual printed or like physical tomes that like with aged pages and everything. I sent a pic to our friend Heather because I was like, do you want? Because she's a big writing nerd. I was just like, oh, could you imagine like writing spells in here? Like writing what all your D&D spells are, and then like let me flip over into my spell book. Hear ye. Let's see here. Of course, the classic Space Marine. I just liked that the classic Space Marine that I have actually moved this guy, like set up
Ah,
as a part of Nova Open. I just like that they Christmas-sized him, so he's got like I don't know if you can see, he's got a little bell. He's got a little bell on his little bolter there. He's got the Christmas sash. Oh, I did not even recognize it's a Warhammer sash.
oh, I didn't either. Oh, that's so awesome.
From far away, it just looks Christmassy. And
Yeah,
then you
it's like
zoom
either
in and you're like,
snowman or
oh, those
Santa
are
or-
Space Marine
yeah.
heads. And now I'm wishing
that's
I had
awesome.
bought the Warhammer scarf. And then he's got like, I guess just a wad of
Looks like a busted up Christmas present.
yeah, or it looks like that was a knife that they then wrapped in wrapping paper.
Ah,
This was really cool. This was the at the Cookie Brigade booth. Bone tomes. Beetle, I thought you went to bed. But
Beetle, we're telling your mother.
yeah.
Wake
So
up to
the
bedtime.
Cookie Brigade had this giant like dice tower thing that like you could donate like $5-10 or something. You would put your dice. They had, let's see, do they have it? I don't think they have it on here, but like you could kind of see in the background there's a little cup there, and then you would spin the wheels and it would go all the way up and then dump and then rattle down through this giant dice tower. And they called it like blessing your dice.
Mhm.
Dungeon crawl. So that was really cool. I didn't do it, but I thought it was cool. Oh, he's in bed watching. I saw this was really cool. They're Oakleys with the jewelers things for like when you're doing your minis.
Uh-huh.
I thought it was cool until I found out how much they were. Like $300.
like 350, 400. So, yeah.
It was like $375 or something like that.
As I'm walking by, I heard a couple of guys. They're like, "Oh, those look so cool, man!" And I was like, "Dude, they're $400." He was like, "They're not that cool, man."
Yep, exactly. Wait a minute. I wonder if I can get prescription versions and then therefore charge my insurance.
See,
Hmm.
Rose Micro Solutions. Let's go to their website.
I can look into that later. Because actually, that would be super helpful. Because like having to put glasses over glasses is always a pain.
Yeah.
So, I was at the Game Topper booth, so I got to see the new terrain mats that they have that are based out of the same. They're based on the same neoprene mats, but they're like buildable roads and stuff. So that was really cool. Let's see. I bought some initiative bean bags. So the next time I'm a DM, I'm gonna just start throwing those at people. It was funny because we were playing BattleTech, and we use like we'll use Pokemon cards like the energy types as like initiative order because you can shuffle them and then deal them out, and it's like whoever gets like we have 2 copies of every card. And so if you have the energy card or if you have the electric energy, then you know that wherever the electric energy card comes out in play, you're the one that goes then. But then I was like, I could just break out the initiative bags. We could just randomize it every turn. So, but that'll be fun. They announced a bunch of new BattleTech stuff. They even had, apparently Penny Arcade has a BattleTech campaign. It's like Black Remnant. That's why there was it's not in the picture, but there was a Black Remnant box set that they were demoing or they were showing off, and it was for sale. They only had like 200 copies at PAX. It's their mechs from the Penny Arcade series.
Okay.
So the mechs that they have in their squad is in that pack. So I didn't buy it because I have a couple of those mechs and I still have plenty to paint.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be a while before I buy with my money. Like I can get if other people like if Dad wants to throw it into a bin when I'm going, then that's fine. But so there's that. Oh, this is it. This is a new thing coming out that's for their it's for their Alpha Strike game, which is what it is, but it's a cooperative campaign where you go up against an AI deck basically of guys, which that's really cool. It's Alpha Strike. And there's nothing wrong with Alpha Strike. It's just it's feels too much like every other
Right.
minis game. Whereas I kind of like you can't. It takes forever, and it plays large games, and it can be complicated. But the classic BattleTech, where you've got the sheet with all the dots, there's just something funny about like blowing off, a guy's arm, whereas you don't get that in Alpha Strike. Like we were playing the other day, and I shot a AC-20, an autocannon 20, at this tiny little catapult or at this tiny mech, and it hit him in the leg, filled up his leg, filled up the armor in the internals in the leg, then damaged because the damage trace, then went to left torso, damaged everything in the left torso, and hit the internals of the left torso also.
Jeez.
Well, it was 20 damage, and he was a small
Yeah.
mech. So, but it's just like I made the joke, was like, man, I just went like right up the rear basically, and just like, and you don't get those kinds of moments sometimes with the Alpha Strike. At least the 1 or 2 times I've played. Let's see what else I got here. This was cool. They had it was a giant. Kess Entertainment had foam dice, and you could like they were about like, I think softball sized, maybe.
Okay.
Probably bigger. Maybe it was somewhere between softball and kickball size, like kind of somewhere in between there. Maybe
Right.
just a little bit bigger than a softball. And then you could throw them into this giant dice tower, and then stuff happened if you depending on what you got. There was a line for this sucker.
I can imagine.
I should have done it. I didn't do it, but I should have. Let's see. Misty Mountain Gaming, they had a bunch of like really cool like third like custom miniatures that you could use in all sorts of games. They they got a Tarrasque, Red Dragon, Humongous, Dead God, Rune Demon, all sorts of things. There's some Blood Elementals, a Gorilla Fiend. I don't know what a Gorilla Fiend is. Let's see. Just more of that. We tried we tried Unmatched.
Yep.
The Witcher. So it's been on my to do try forever. And I think now that I think about it, I think I own the digital version of Unmatched.
Okay.
I don't know what it has on it, but I think I picked it up in like a Steam sale or got it real cheap somewhere for like a humble bundle or something. I gotta look. But they were demoing off their new Witcher sets, Realms Fall and Steel and Silver. So like I played Triss, and I forgot who you played with, but we ended up using the other person's tokens by accident.
Yep.
What did you think of the game?
It's I did like the so I mean you can kind of see it on the game board there, how some of the regions are they cross regions.
Yeah.
So it was like as a ranged attacker, you can attack anything
In your region.
in your region. Yeah. So if you're standing on one of those duels, or one of them's a 3 actually, like you can attack damn near the whole board. I did like that aspect of you weren't just limited to like, oh, the guy's got to be right next to you. It wasn't
Yeah.
just
Or a range thing of like, okay, is he 3 spaces away?
yeah, like minimum distance, maximum distance, that kind of stuff. I did enjoy that. I'd probably just have to like play it more.
With like yeah, because I was like, it was neat. I just didn't like the person I play. Like I wasn't really vibing.
Yeah, the
with
characters we'd have to
the style of play.
like what other realms
Oh, there's
are in there?
tons. It's like I said,
Yeah,
it started with public domain stuff, but like then it expanded onwards and onwards. And they've got
Why do I want to say Marvel Unmatched? Is that a
that
thing?
is a thing.
Okay, then that's why I want to say it. So
Yeah.
grab let's grab like a bunch of Marvel characters and start.
Yeah, like Deadpool's
trying
one.
that out. Oh,
they made a separate Deadpool set. Like there's a Buffy set. There's all sorts of stuff. Like there's a Bruce Lee figure, like a separate Bruce Lee character thing that you can add in, and they're all compatible with each other.
Is there a Chuck Norris figure so you can have Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris fight each other?
I don't think so.
Chuck Norris just automatically wins.
Yeah. But they were also getting people interested in their TMNT co-op one. but that one looked cool. But I think I'd have to try that before I bust in and just. I wanted to just back it right then and there, but I stopped myself, and I was like, you don't need another game that you're not gonna play, so I need to like play stuff before I actually get around to buying it.
Yes, I do.
And just a quick, in case you've never heard of Unmatched before, it's basically a card-based minis game where you can put minis on the board and move them around for all these different figures and characters. But the way you attack and play is through playing cards, which kind of reminded me of Blood Rage a little bit, of like everybody putting in a card and then flipping to see who had the higher number kind of thing. That sort of way of attacking. This was cool. It was just like a place called Rat Trap Games that just had a bunch of like boards for terrain that you could easily assemble. Like, I think this was cardboard is what it looks like, or it's either that or like small MDF, or pop-up cities and trees and all sorts of cool stuff, which I'm all for easily making terrain available. Let's see. This Modern Meeple site had some really cool products. It's just another one of the many like game accessories. I think these look like they're made out of it's like that recycled PVC kind of look that you can see, like especially like if you zoom in and see kind of the like what like benches are made out of sometimes is what it reminded me of. It might just be wood with just a special finish. It's entirely possible. Because some of their other stuff is wood. Like, I'm pretty sure the bottom is wood. But really cool accessory pieces. Like, that would be great for a Catan board kind of thing. And then you got the card holder in there in the background. Another kind of game boards, Into the Wilds, where you've got flip books of, like, RPG settings and stuff, or I guess it could be miniatures, but I'm sure this is probably more for like, because it says TTRPG maps, so you don't have to like figure them out on the spot. You just kind of flip to the page and then open it up. That's always really cool. That was just the person. So Tom Cartos Battle Maps is who did those, the Into the Wilds. We got to try out Foundry.
Oh, that is so wicked. Yeah.
So, okay, this is a good place to stop for a sec. Cuz I made the joke in it's in the I think I put it in the title, where it was like for a convention called Unplugged, there was sure a lot of digital gaming stuff there. But like, holy crap, there were a lot of VTTs there, virtual tabletops at PAX. Like there were so many of them that like, also there was one later on that I saw that was like a map making tool that they were like, also it's a virtual tabletop. And I'm like, I don't think we need this many virtual tabletops. Because you're going to get to be like, well, we're playing this game on this tabletop and this game on that tabletop because this indie game is supported on that tabletop, but this other indie game is supported on this other tabletop.
Yep.
And like I backed that Roll one, which was pretty good, but that was more theater of the mind-ish, where it was more focused on like incorporating the video stuff of like, you know, imagine Discord and like Roll20 kind of merged, which now that is in beta also.
I did see that, yeah.
So we talked about it on the show, man.
Well, then it also popped up as like when I opened up Discord and that big banner takes over.
But one of the popular ones that I had heard of was Foundry Tabletop, and so I was at their booth. It was before the show started, and I got like a little bit of a demo of it. Did I? Yeah, okay. And then I was like, when Philip finally woke up, I was like, hey, come here, and got to try out trying out the virtual tabletop for Foundry. And not just that, so it can be used for like D&D and all sorts of other games, and they have third-party stuff and first-party stuff on here. The first-party stuff, I could tell, not as good, because you can tell, like one of the guys, that they had to pull images, so like the Fandelier and Beyond, the starter game for D&D 5e where you got jumped and died from the goblin, They had that
Uh-huh.
adventure in there, or at least the fully expanded version, and you could tell like the maps were in there and just like blown up, so they looked very pixelated because they had to use like
Oh.
the artwork from the book. But a lot of other like a bunch of third-party stuff in there as well. But then they had what was it, Ember? Is that what it was?
Is that is that the
I'm pretty sure it
is
was
that the
Ember.
setting? Yeah.
Which, first of all, like the artwork itself is just gorgeous. It gives me like SNES vibes,
Mm-hmm.
like some of the SNES games kind of vibes versus like more traditional dungeon kind of aspects to something here. And not to say there might be more traditional dungeon stuff here. It was just really nice to see like a forest that didn't look all dark and decayed.
Yeah.
But then Philip, you got to try this for a spin. What'd you think?
It was neat. I appreciated that. It so like you go and you click on the map, and each one is like a mile or something. They said.
Yeah, I don't remember the distance.
But like there were units of measure and time
yeah,
to go through. So like if you get your whole party and you're online and you're doing this kind of stuff, like you'll be able to see because there's the joke that floats around of like a journey of a week takes 30 seconds and a 30-second battle takes 3 hours.
yeah.
So like you'd be able to go through and do all that, and I'm sure there's a bunch of like GM tools to be like, yeah, sure, we journeyed for a week, but we don't need to watch the, and there even were because you could like fast forward time and all that,
Yeah.
and pause time and all that stuff. It looks like, and I'm on their website right now. I'm kind of looking at that purchase button.
Yeah, so it is so Foundry, the good news is that Foundry is a one-time purchase of like $50 that gets you the tools and everything. And then you can purchase adventures and stuff in it. And the way it works is apparently I'd love to get these guys on the show too, just to talk. And somebody runs the software on their computer, and then everybody else connects through a web browser. So like you could be on your tablet or whatever, as long as the person was hosting the game somewhere. But Ember is their own custom world and setting that they just recently finished the Kickstarter for, come to find out. And it's gonna be like $100, I think, for the one person to buy. But if you think about how much a module, like a book, one of the adventure books costs, it's really not that much more, considering you get like a sandbox world almost. Like it really felt like they were bored, and I get the idea was to kind of demo this is everything that Foundry can do, and let's push the borders of the system to kind of give DMs outside of Ember like ideas of what they can do. But it only felt like we're only like one step away from like from just a D&D video game. Like
Yes.
this is like, you got Baldur's Gate, and then if you want to go one step towards regular D&D, that would be this, where you still have like the party and the GM, or your dungeon master and everything, and it was D&D 5e compatible or their own separate new system. But this is like the GM is moving people, and you see like time passing, and it's like, oh, we want to go there, or we want to go there, and it's all detailed out and very vivid. We have our group of gamers where it's like every night for a couple hours, people are say, hey, let's go jump on Helldivers and run a couple missions or something. The way this is set up, you could easily do that same kind of thing where it's like, hey, let's go run an encounter into an Ember. And just jump in and start playing. And I thought that was actually kind of cool. Let's see. We saw Vast Grim, which I believe our other friend Chris played at Gen Con, but it's based on the Morkborg. If you've seen that game, it uses that system. But
Okay.
apparently it was really weird because apparently Infinite Black had the rights to it, and then the creators went somewhere else, so they have like the initial publishing rights, and then the other people have, and then somebody else has the full publishing rights. So it was like they were available in 2 spots. It was really weird. Just more of the books for Vast Grimm. That same book that the same Infinite Black, the same booth there. They had these really cool like retro dice, where it was like 1-up dice, where the dice box that held your dice looked like an NES cartridge, and it would be like Monster Madness or like Cleric Fireball, or there's the Fireball one, Monster Madness, and like I think on the other side it said like Cleric, Fighter, Mage, whatever. And it just everything's in kind of like an 8-bit sort of setup. I thought that was really cool. I did not get any, but it's just I like new dice tropes. Which, by the way,
New
Phil,
shiny.
did you see the dice box I sent you today?
Did you?
The
Where'd you send it to me?
I sent you a text that was the Green Lantern dice.
Oh yes, I did see that. That looks. Oh,
I saw it.
damn
It's for the 40th anniversary Heroes DC Heroes RPG, but that's one of the like stretch goals or something is like Green Lantern dice box, and so Philip's a huge Green Lantern fan, so I had to send that to him.
Oh, wait, that's on Kickstarter?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's like finishing up soon.
Hurry the hell up, Philip.
It said so in the game. It said so in the picture.
Yeah, it said final hours. I just like
Ah,
how final are those final hours?
gotcha. I got to see a run through of this game called Aegis. It was really funny because the guy like flagged me down. It was like, "Your badge says media. Come talk about my game, or come listen to me talk about my game." And it was like, okay. It's really cool because you would probably like this because it kind of has like a Power Ranger-y feel to it, where you have all these different robot cards that spell out Aegis, and the different things stand for something. It's like action something 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 something. But it's a combining robot game where, you know, when you get all your cards out, you can then combine the cards together. Like you can get the A and the G can come together to be one robot, or like the S and the S and the G can become the other, or the I and the S, or the 2 S's can, you know, whatever. All the different bits can come, the different colors and stuff can go together and form like, I think he said it was like over like 400 or 100 different robots. It reminded me of Fusion and Yu-Gi-Oh, where it's like you take the 2 cards and then you now have like, here you go. So this is like the AGIS, or like AGI or GI. Whoops.
Ah.
And so it's like they combine together, form this thing, and then it's just a robot fighting arena thing. So really cool.
Exodia, obliterate.
Let's see. What else? I just thought the Army Painter booth had some really good painted Imperial Fists. Like yellow is really hard to do really well, but these were pretty nicely done. Oop, and now I've lost my spot. There we go. Oh, there's this booth.
They're just D10s.
What?
The Green Lantern dice.
Oh yeah.
And they're oversized. They're 37 millimeter dice.
It must be a D10 system.
Yeah.
So there was this booth that had dodeca donuts, and it was
Nice.
they were donut shaped dice boxes. So you open them up and there were dice inside. I'm like, now you're making me hungry. Bunch of just here's one of your. This was your digital table we saw.
That one looked so amazing. That table is a
was this-
65-inch touch screen.
Was this Game Theory or was this somewhere else?
No. That was was that game? No,
No,
'cause
that was so Geek and Son was the ones that did the raising table. That's
okay,
right.
This is Game Theory.
This
Geek
is
and
Game
Son was
Theory.
the yep.
So we saw that they actually had this somewhere else too, and there was also this nice little die thing there that we'll talk about in a second
Oh,
too.
that little thing right there.
Yeah. So yeah, Phillips always talked about having like a table with a built-in touchscreen. And that was the thing. Like this thing was a full-on touchscreen.
Yes. And they were it's commercial grade, so it's actually brighter than your TV at home.
Mm.
It's a commercial grade monitor or something. Yeah.
Could you imagine doing that like Ember on this? Where it's like, I'm just going to drag our party or whatever. Let's see. Yes, it was game theory. Okay. Oh, here we go. We're at the so
Hey,
we're
I
at
can just back for $1, right?
what?
I can just back for $1, right? No, that's make a pledge without a reward.
Well, yeah, but that'll still get you access to backer kit.
Oh, but then you can change in the yeah. Because I'm looking and I'm like, I don't really know anything about this system.
Yeah. I just want the dice.
But for $695, I can get everything.
So apparently it was a really old. Apparently, because it's like 40 years old, is what it said, and they're just republishing the books, is what it says. So Pixels.
Yeah.
This was a Kickstarter I backed like in 2021, and it kind of ignored because the dice were going to be expensive. I just wanted to follow along and see how it went. But it is their Bluetooth die, and it was really cool. I loved they kind of showed the different schemes of all the dice they went through. Like this process took forever, but unlike a lot of other Kickstarters, every month they had an update as to what they were doing.
I just remembered. the internals look like dungeon dice monsters.
I thought I was like, it looks like it spells something. Like that's like an L, an S, that looks like an E almost.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so they have these dice, and the idea with these dice are that you hook them up to different things, and then you can roll them and have them show up on the screen. So if you're doing like a virtual tabletop, then or like in this, because we managed to get some copies to play around with.
We did.
So like I can roll here, and you can see on the screen like it's showing all my dice rolls, and I'm rolling a physical dice here. So instead of Philip's got it likes his virtual dice rollers. But I still like rolling actual dice, but there's some circumstances where that's not helpful. Where like a VTT where someone's like, I got to be able to see all your dice rolls. And here it's like, oh, there goes the one. Where it's a flat, I picked it up too late. So you can go into the app here and like, see, I can actually pull up the app. And I can say like, here's all the profile for it. So like, this is what all the things does when the dice is rolled. All sorts of different things for it. And I mean, you can also there's virtual dice that you could roll, if you wanted to. But really cool. So we're going to be experimenting with this in the future because I want to use this for some game shows. I got to figure out some ideas for that. But these are definitely going to get used in future episodes. May have to combine it with that Foundry so that we can get your rolls as well. Because since it's Bluetooth, like I can't see I wouldn't be able to get your rolls unless we have something where you're like Foundry where you're connecting and it's sharing your rolls kind of thing.
And just bloop and pops right up.
Which, by the way, there is a plugin that you can get for like Chrome browser that allows you to use this in D&D Beyond.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it's not official. It's like a third party, somebody coded up and rolled. Foundry is the only one that they like themselves coded.
Yeah.
But the whole dice is open source, so you can. So have you messed around much with it, Philip?
I have not. I was just I moved it.
Yeah.
It was no. It's within 5 feet of my desk. I know that much because I cleared off a spot to put my water bottle real quick. So I probably threw it in my bag, which was where the charging cable was.
Yeah, for like the week after PAX, I kept bringing this to places like, hey, you want to see something cool? And a lot of people are like, that's really cool, but I don't really have a use case for it. And I get it, but it is one of those things that's like, if you do, and you have the money, like it isn't cheap. These are like $59 at Dice, but you saw the machinery that goes into them.
Yeah, and it's standard D20 size.
Yeah. And they make these
That's
for.
the amazing part.
They also make them. You can see here. They have them for every dice set, so you can get. I mean, it's like $200 and something, but you can get a full set of dice.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I would like softball sized.
I imagine that skull going up is probably not a hard to do. I imagine getting it
Probably
that
not.
tiny was the problem.
Yeah.
So let's see.
Oh my god. What do you guys roll? What's
What?
your main stuff for Warhammer?
D6s.
D6s?
Yeah. But
Yeah, because I
you
saw
would
those
have to
guys
have
rolling handfuls of these
yeah,
things.
you'd have to roll a bunch of die for like I have
How many D20s does your or how many D6s does your crit surprise sneak attack for Sarav need?
I think it was like 8.
Oh, it was it was
I
more
don't
than
know.
oh well.
It
So,
may have been like
and
12.
then like it was a 12, but I think it's somehow we were able to double that.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's get 24 D6. Blah.
But like it's funny cuz in BattleTech pretty much everything uses 2d6. So it's like, "Oh, you could there's some online BattleTech stuff and then just use your 2d6." But the guys were just like, "Nah, I'm good."
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, this was really cool. So these are like existing books that someone redid. So like that's Tomb of Annihilation and like Curse of Strahd,
yeah.
but they're new like leather-bound rebindings of them to make them look like actual tomes. I thought that was really cool.
Oh, is that an actual like divot in Tomb of Annihilation?
Yeah.
On the oh, no, so that's probably actual cloth too. Oh, that's
Yeah. And like they had other book leather-bound versions like The Witcher and like Aragon and stuff like that. There was a person selling pet toys in the shape of dice and like other D&D stuff, and it was called Polymorph.
Eh.
So you could have like cat toy chew balls, or it's like the D20 chew balls, where they're like that harder plastic that like. I guess dogs. It's probably more of a dog thing, but I've seen cats
so it doesn't
scratch.
immediately get shredded.
Yeah, or like little plushies. I just don't know how much any of this was, because like, I don't know how much I'm gonna pay for something that's immediately gonna get shredded.
Yeah.
Oh, this was the one that I saw where it was like a map designer that then Arkenforge,
Oh.
where it was a map designer where you can make your own maps, and it had like custom lightwork stuff, and they even had like animation, like you could apply an animation to stuff. Like this was just, and the water there looked like it was flowing, but it was just really like an animation that just kept scrolling through.
Okay.
But it made it look like water. But you could export these and use them in your games, or you could run the game on as a virtual tabletop. So I was like, okay, like it looked cool. Let's see. Oh, here you go. You want to talk about this, Philip? This is your Geek Instant table.
Yes, this table. So this is actually the day before. So when I actually walked by the booth and saw it, that red felt part, that portion was not there, and they were just displaying the up and down. So yeah, that middle portion right there, it raises up and down, so you can like hide stuff from your players, or if you're going down into a dungeon,
Yeah.
you need to go underground,
Or
you just
so like
raise the whole thing up.
the DM can set up the board ahead of time without it being without
everybody seeing that,
Yeah.
oh, there's a red dragon
So you
right
can
there.
set it up and then take it off and just like, ta-da, here's the dungeon. And you see there was
Yeah.
also like runes for all the different players and like a little special
Mhm.
dungeon master thing that lit up. Like, really cool idea and concept. I was talking with some people afterwards. I don't know how often I'd use that. I feel like it's really good that one time that you use it.
Yeah.
And then after that, like, okay, this is kind of...
The novelty kind of goes away. You'd have to...
But it's a really cool table. Like, they got all the lighted seats, so, like, you could see all your character sheets. There's trays that pull out. I mean, it's a really nice table.
Oh, yeah, extremely
And it looks
nice.
like there's a remote to change the lights.
You'd need, like, a new table every different game. just to have like, okay, this was what's that? This is a hexagonal table. Okay,
Mhm.
cool. Next we're just gonna have a a rectangle, and then oh yeah, we're playing. Oh, guess what? Boom, and then like
Hmm.
a portion of the rectangle pops up, and like just to keep the surprise.
But it's a hexagonal table. I forgot to mention that part.
Yeah.
But yeah. And plenty of room for like your books, your dice towers, all sorts of stuff. Really fancy, really nice. Again, my cats would tear it up immediately, but
Mm.
which is why I never got a wooden table. It's why it's like the number one thing I would tell people with the Game Toppers booth is like the main reason I got this over others is aside from price, I have cats and it's harder for them to destroy the aluminum. So
Yeah.
nothing against them. I think these tables are super cool. I just could never own one. I thought this was cool. They had a sign that looked like, I swear I thought this was TJ Maxx when I first walked
I
by.
did because it's the perfect.
It's got the style as TJ Maxx, but it says TJ Pax, and it says, "Are you a Paxinista?" And it was by the Pax merchant or the Pax merch booth, which was really cool.
Yeah.
I did play one game at Pax, and that was
Yeah, I
called
was watching you guys.
Tower Up, which is this really neat city building game. Mike probably should. I should probably show this to Mike at some point, where you get all these different colored pieces of buildings, and you have to you always are either getting pieces or placing pieces, and there's rules on where you can place and in what order. And you want to place a building, and then you have a cap for your color, and you want your cap to be on the top of the building, and you get points based on how many of the completing objectives and that sort of thing. It was neat. I'm sure other people would love it as much or much more, but this was while I was waiting for Philip to wake up on Saturday. That's actually good. That's a good point. Something I realized at PAX too, because it's always like we go there and like Jimmy and Corey pretty much stay in the library area just playing board games the entire weekend. In fact, they try and play as many board games as possible. And then I'm always like walking around seeing stuff, and then I'll be like, oh, do I want to play this RPG? And then I'm like, or do I want to do this? I realize like the biggest thing I like to do at conventions is socializing with people, and doing like group activity kind of things, or just that sort of stuff. So I need to probably do more panels and stuff next year, because it's like things that I can't do at home. Like, I don't play board games a lot, and that's what people will say is, well, I don't usually get the chance to play board games a lot. Like, I don't, but I could. Like,
Right.
I could go to the board game nights on Friday nights and play a bunch of random different games. Like, I could do that. Or, like RPGs, I could go, at any time I could probably call up a couple of friends or go to the D&D night at the store or whatever and play. I just don't. But, like, there are certain people or things that you can only do at conventions. Some of that does involve just walking the floor, seeing all the cool stuff there. But there are, like, I need to do more. I didn't do a good enough job of finding out friends I had from, like, Twitter and the internet that were going to be at PAX and, like, hooking up with them and grabbing food or, hanging out with people, that sort of thing. That would have probably been cool. And if it involved playing a game, then, okay. But that would have probably been my upcoming next year. That'll be a big deal for me with conventions, is those kind of opportunities. This was just the die. Let me show you the die. I went to speaking of panels and stuff, I went to the Faster Purple Worm Kill, which had a couple a couple of people that I didn't know. One person that was in the one that I'd seen at Gen Con, but then it had Iffy Nawadawe, and I've seen him on Dropout, and he's just such a hilarious dude that when I found out he was going to be at the PAX Faster Purple Worm, I was like, I have to go to this, and I'm glad I did because it was so funny. Apparently, I think they do post them up on their YouTube channels, because the one I went to at Gen Con is now available on the Beetle and Grimm. So the Beetle and Grimm, the group that works with Matthew Lillard and puts out all the special dice and the special deluxe editions of D&D adventures they put on this show called Faster Purple Worm Kill Kill, where it's all level 1 adventures going up against a level 20 monster and dying, and it's just how do they die, and they usually get a bunch of improv and comedian people there. So that's why they had Iffy on there, and it was fantastic. But I kept hearing about there were other people I knew from Dropout that were on there that were in some of the other ones. Like we found out that I think Reika Shankar was at the like Desi Quest panel or whatever, and that sounded really cool. So some of those things I probably should check out more next time I go. But let's see. I took a picture of this because like. So the DeVere booth had this sign, and if you didn't know any better, I was like, what is this sign saying? Because it's just Autumn Flash 10, ouch, walkie-talkie, winter, yokai sketch. Like, it wasn't until I saw the specials and the $10, I think they're games.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But like if you just assume like that was one sign that was like Autumn Flash 10, ouch, I'm like, what?
Yeah. Well, hang on. That's fine. I was just looking at the 10, 3, and 4 pricing right there. I remember, like, but there's 6 items.
Yeah.
What about? So you'd have to do what? 2 3s, I guess.
Probably. I saw the shirt and I probably should have gotten it. Why? Yes, my dice are more balanced than I am. And then I think that then just the final swag, so you can see the better picture of the XP thing we got. I've also got a few good items up here. You can see I bought a bunch of plushies. That was what I spent a lot of the money I sent up there, and it wasn't even that much. I got a little grot from Warhammer up here. You can also see him in the background there. I got this little cute, adorable gelatinous ooze over there. And then, no, all the rest of this is other stuff from the old set that I pulled out. But then the last purchase I picked up was a couple copies of Shrapnel, which is the official Battletech magazine, because they were running a buy 2, get 1 free on Battletech fiction. And I love flipping through the White Dwarf, which is the Warhammer magazine, and I don't dive in as much yet on the BattleTech lore, and I thought that would be a good place. And there's all sorts of different stuff in there. But then of course I got all the different pins. So yeah. Philip, anything I didn't cover? I know that was a lot of me talking.
No, that's we. No, that was a lot of it. I've got that business card for the like getting your face on a squad of Space Marines.
That's right. You want to talk about what that? I didn't take a picture of that booth.
Something falls up. You know where that business card is? It's with my dice. I think it was called Last Foundry.
Okay.
Or Lost Foundry. But I walked by the booth and they had a like quarter-size bust of it was a Space Marine and it had Henry Cavill's face
on it. Yeah.
On the and I'm like, well, okay, what is this? Like he's like, yeah, like we can scan your face, get a good scan of it, and just like put your head on a bunch of different characters in there. And then they showed they had like a like four or 5 Space Marines all with the exact same dude's face. And it's like, that's actually kind of odd. You could just run around and have, if you want to have a whole squad of you, or if you want to have like, you know, the chapter master Chris Renshaw on the field. And like, that looked like something really,
so you can get have Philip would have to be a space wolf.
A space wolf?
Yeah, especially with that beard. You got the whole Viking thing going on.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna 2 seconds.
As Philip departs, probably to find the name of the company.
Yep, they were right where I thought. Yep, because there's my die in the box.
Yay!
And oh, excuse me, Last Hold Games.
Last hold games. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yes, like that, and the yeah. Oh, it's a double-sided business card.
All right.
Last Hold Games. There they are. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And they got like some of these. Hold on. Go back to that page. Some of these are huge. You can get like decently sized table pieces.
Bus.
Yeah. Like, could you imagine that? Could you have like a like life-size bust just sitting in the middle of like your Thanksgiving table?
I don't think I could imagine that. And why is this like so huge?
And that's what she said.
Oh, that's why. Because it's like ginormous.
Because the pop-up over top, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Warhammer miniatures.
Become a miniature.
Yep.
Full body statues. Yes. I was going to say, I clicked on it. There we go. 400 millimeter.
Yeah.
Add your face to Wolverine or Deadpool.
Yep. Oh, it's an Australian board game company.
Oh, are they?
That's what the Last Hold Games thing is. There we go. This is what I was trying to get at, where you can have your face on all the different minis. So even like RPG stuff. You know, like, yeah, you can make a mini of your character. I did that before. We talked about that before with Eldritch Family. But here you can scan in your friends so it literally looks like them.
Yes. Oh. Where would you like the event to take place? Example, February 22nd, Gold Coast 4214. Like, so that's in Australia.
Yeah. What said, like I saw as featured at PAX, and then I looked underneath and it says PAX Australia 2022. Yeah. So Philip, you're going to go again next year?
It's close enough. And we've already got the room booked.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, because we found out. So the thing is that we found out that PAX next year is not going to be after Thanksgiving. It's going to be the week before Thanksgiving because there's some big like biotech conference that's like taking over the whole center. So it's also during the Philadelphia Marathon. And I imagined rooms were going to go quick. So I managed to find one at a decent rate that had breakfast. Did you see that? I bought a room.
No, it has breakfast this time?
Nice. So there was an option. So it's one of those ones where breakfast isn't included, but it was like it was like $207 a day for just the base price, or it was like $222 a day includes breakfast for two. And I was like, sold.
Lovely.
And it's even closer to the Broad Street entrance. Like it's also a block away, but a block away from the actual entrance.
From the actual Broad Street entrance.
Yeah, it's that Meridian.
Right. Yeah.
You know, you made the joke about the Prime Meridian.
Yeah.
So it's the La Meridian. So you know what'll happen is that door won't be open.
That's not going to be, yeah.
So we'll have to even further to walk.
Which even then, because like it's like if you have your badge, go to Broad Street. But then looking around, it was like I could just go in Market Street under and just go in that one too.
Yeah. But anyways, so PAX was fun.
PAX is a good time.
Definitely still need to get more stuff going on, but definitely next year. I think next year I'm going to try and set up like an RPG with some friends. Like,
there you go.
Like friends that I don't see regularly kind of stuff. Those late night those late like I did the first year, where it was just randomly playing Cypher System until 4 in the morning, but maybe not until 4 in the morning. Because I'm old now.
That's right, man. 4 in the morning is now a wake up time for some stuff.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's not a go to bed time.
And next year, Philip, you just need to sleep for like 2 days going into the convention.
Right? I'll have to. Well, next year I won't have. I won't be able to take off the day before Thanksgiving and not go back to work until tomorrow. Because if it's before, yeah, I'd have to actually go back to work sometime in there.
Maybe, but
Oh,
I think we'll probably let's redo bonus bits on a later night.
that
just
sounds
'cause
like a plan.
it's late. But I'm gonna go ahead and hit this. Let's roll that beautiful footage.
And that's been our show. We want to thank everyone who's in chat for hanging out with us. Beetle's here already in bed.
Oh, he's probably asleep
Just
by now.
wandering. He's probably asleep right now today. But if you like what you see, you got to check us out, boardsandswords.com. It's got the links to where we are live, plus the schedule. It's also got the link to our Patreon, where you can help support us. And it's got the link to the Dirt Bags of Holding. That's where we did some live play stuff in the past. We're thinking about doing it in the future. Maybe we'll pull up that Foundry system and see if we can.
I don't know how well that
you
would
know,
work
just-
on the actual play, but we'll see.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. All right. Give us feedback. Let us know if there's anybody we talked about that you want to hear us talk about on the show. Feedback at boardsandswords.com. You can find all of our stuff at boardsandswords.com, even on Blue Sky at boardsandswords.com. But in the meantime, remember that you can go to boardsandswords.com and support Patreon. We'll be back next week. We have Chris from Cubicle 7 Games. I actually have already recorded that interview. I did that after PAX while Philip went to Vegas. But that's already recorded. We'll have the normal news and everything next week, and then we'll have that interview dropped in as well. So come back next week. We're going to be talking about the Warhammer RPG, Wrath and Glory. So in the meantime, remember that every gamer has a story. And this one was all about me singing blessings to the Omnissiah so I could get my computer to work. I always have to like make sure I turn it back up, or else I'll be like, why isn't sound playing? All right. So I'm going to stop the recording, and I'm going to stop the stream. Good night, everybody.